So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, in cricket, the cricketers and commentators are on a warpath. Leading the charge for both Virat Kohli and Sunil Gavaskar, India's legendary cricketers. What's all the noise about in the lead-up to India's World Cup campaign? We bring you the latest. And Real Madrid have clinched the La Liga title. From the Galacticos to the grounded heroes. Two different teams across the ages, yet the success story has been the same. What has been key to this transitional triumph? And from Lando no win to Lando Norris a champion. What is the story behind McLaren's first Formula One winner in this season after a decade, in fact? The team and the driver celebrated like never before. But first, all the headlines from Sports 360. The co-hosts for the T20 World Cup, West Indies, have received a terror threat. The ICC asserts that strong security plans are in place. Cricket West Indies says everything is being done to ensure foolproof security. West Indies will be hosting the entire Super 8 stages along with the semi-finals and the final. That's set to take place on the 29th of June. Pakistan's cricket board has in fact announced a cash prize for each of their players if Pakistan wins the upcoming T20 World Cup. Chairman Mohsin Naqvi says each of the players will receive $100,000. Pakistan's first match is against the USA in Texas on the 6th of June. In football, Liverpool thrashed Tottenham Hotspur 4-2 in the Premier League. Mohamed Salah scored the first goal for the Reds. Andy Robertson added a second on half-time. Tottenham were punished more after the Reds scored through Cody Gakpo and Harvey Elliott. Tottenham tried to reduce the deficit to Rick Charlson and Heung-min Son, but it wasn't enough to secure a victory in the match. In tennis, Andrei Rublev of Russia has clinched the 2024 Madrid Open title. He was up against Felix Auger-Aliassime of Canada. Rublev overcame a first-set loss to beat his opponent 7-5, 7-5 in the next two sets. This is Rublev's second Masters 1000 title. Over in badminton, Team China stamped their authority yet again by clinching both the Uber Cup and the Thomas Cup. They overcame Indonesia in the finals. This is the first time since 2012 that China has won both the championships. The men clinched China's 11th title at the Thomas Cup, defeating Indonesia 3-1, and the women outclassed their Indonesian opponents 3-0 to win the Uber Cup for an unprecedented 16th time. And the Indian men's and women's 4x400 meter relay team secured Paris Olympic spots. The women's quartet of Rupal Chaudhary, M.R. Puvamma, Jyotika Sridandi and Subha Venkateshan finished second behind Jamaica with a time of 3 minutes and 29.35 seconds. And over in the men's, Mohammad Yahya, Mohammad Ajmal, Aroki Rajiv and Amod Jacob followed suit. They secured second place behind the USA with a time of 3 minutes and 3.23 seconds. With this, India now have a total of 19 athletes who have qualified for the Paris Games in track and field events alone. Now, there's a lot of noise heading into the T20 World Cup, the Cricket World Cup. That's hardly a month away now, but there seems to be more noise than sense. And I'm talking of India's build-up alone to the World Cup. It has been a lot of buzz. There's one particular way of words that have contributed to a lot of the noise over the last few weeks. The cricketer at the center of it all has been Virat Kohli. Yes, Virat Kohli, who has been in the news for months now. There comes a time in any superstar's trajectory where the hard-hitting questions start creeping in. Extra scrutiny, and this is that time for Virat Kohli as far as T20 cricket is concerned. And what makes this a very good contest for us on the sidelines is that he's aware of it. He's aware of it right from when the IPL started. Listen to this.
I know my name is now attached to just promoting the game in different parts of the world when it comes to T20 cricket. I've still got it, I guess. I don't play for these caps anymore. That's the promise I can give here. I'll keep turning up and keep trying my best. I try to give the team a blazing start, but if wickets fall, you have to assess. It wasn't the usual flat pitch. I was disappointed I couldn't finish the game. The ball was in the slot but sliced it to deep point.
He knows that he still continues to be the biggest name in sport globally. The fact that cricket is heading to uncharted territories for a World Cup is massive. T20 cricket is going to the USA and and in some way he believes that he's a catalyst for that. When he hears this, especially Nicolo Campriani on Virat when the Los Angeles 28 games had cricket announced.
We all recognize the critical importance of a strong digital presence in order to keep the games relevant for the youth. And cricket is offering a unique platform to do so. Think about my friend here, Virat. He's the third most followed athlete in the world on social media with 314 million followers. That's more than LeBron James, Tom Brady and Tiger Woods combined. This is the ultimate win-win for LA, the IOC and the cricket community, as cricket will be showcased on a global stage to grow beyond the traditional cricket countries, while the Olympic movement gains access to previously untapped communities of athletes and fans.
He is the most popular cricketer out there across social media and he knows it. But the critics see it another way. Sure, Virat is a global ambassador for the sport, but when it comes to commentating on the game and giving opinions, then there is a certain critique that's attached to Virat Kohli and T20 cricket. Many experts, while predicting their Indian squad for the World Cup, didn't have Virat Kohli in it. Their reasons were clear. As a top 3 batter and particularly as an opener here for the Bengaluru franchise at the IPL, anything below 120 was below par for the course. And that's obviously caught Virat Kohli's attention and he made no bones about being peeved. And he's taken it up a notch, calling out commentators who have particularly criticized his style of batting.
All the people who talk about strike rates and me not playing spin well are the ones who love talking about this stuff. But for me, it's just about winning the game for the team. And there's a reason why you do it for 15 years. Because you've done this day in and day out. You have won games for your team. And I'm not quite sure if you have not been in that situation yourself, to sit and speak about the game from a box. I don't think it's the same thing. For me, it's about doing the job for the team. People can sit and talk about their own ideas and assumptions of the game. But those who have done it day in and day out, they know what they are doing. It's kind of muscle memory for me.
It hasn't helped that Bengaluru's fortunes have fluctuated from abysmal to some sparks of brilliance of late. But of course, Virat Kohli has shone through all of that, especially with all his knocks throughout the league. He's sitting at the top of that runs table. But that comment by Virat Kohli some days back opened a can of worms, of course. One of the commentators who has been vocal about the Indian batting lineup took it upon himself to retort to this.
If you come and open and then have a strike rate of 118 when you get out in the 14th or the 15th over, I mean, if you want applause for that, that's a little bit different. That's different. All these guys talk about, oh, we don't care about outside noise. Acha, then why are you replying to any outside noise or whatever it is? We all played a bit of cricket, not a lot of cricket. We don't have agendas. We speak about what we see. We don't necessarily have any likes and dislikes.
Clearly, this has snowballed into a war of words between two legends of the sport in the country, Sunil Gavaskar, or Sunny G as he's fondly called, and the OG, the original gangster, the man who's known to give it off with no regrets, Virat Kohli. Gavaskar equally upset with the broadcasters for continually playing this up, especially Virat Kohli's response. It's become a fodder for social media memes, of course, and it's resulted in a lot of noise ahead of the World Cup. Instead of focusing on a big tournament coming up, there are squabbles and noisy quips doing the rounds now. But it isn't just the cricketers and the commentators who are engaging in these verbal jibes. Fans have lent to some unnecessary jeers as well along the way. The Indian fans have been making their fair share of noise. The boos that they subjected Hardik Pandya to at the start of Mumbai Indians' campaign at the IPL has been rather disheartening, particularly for the player. It has completely deflated the all-rounder who was leading Mumbai for the very first time. His form has drastically dipped with the bat and ball, and maybe another reason why selectors too went in with Shivam Dube for that additional fast-bowling all-rounder option. We even got to see him bowl a bit just recently for the Chennai franchise after the squad was announced. So all these noisy affairs are only creating a bit of a din. All any Indian cricket fan really wants at this point is some quiet and sensible planning, especially in the lead-up to a very, very important T20 World Cup. No, it was the summer of 1931. That's when Real Madrid clinched their maiden La Liga title, marking the start of a dominant rule in Spanish football. Led by players like Santiago Bernabeu and Ricardo Zamora, Real's inaugural victory laid the foundation for the successful decades to come. Fast forward to more than 9 decades later to now, the club is still ablaze with celebrations. Quite the scene, right? Waving flags, chanting slogans, screaming names, cheering fans clad in the iconic white jerseys. Last Saturday, Real sealed their record 36th La Liga title. They were crowned the champions after their arch rivals Barcelona succumbed to Girona 2-4. So Girona's win over Barca helped Girona jump to second spot on the table. Earlier, Real Madrid had secured a 3-0 win over Cadiz. So Barcelona's loss to Girona, combined with Real Madrid's performance against Cadiz, led Madrid accumulating enough points to secure the championship, despite having 4 games to spare. At the center of this joyous moment, of course, stands their coach, Carlo Ancelotti, who described the win as a well-deserved one.
It has been a fantastic league. I think we have deserved it with everything we did. The support from our fans has been fantastic and we are obviously very happy. The truth is we would like to celebrate with all of our fans, but I think the Madridista, understands it that we have a very important challenge ahead on Wednesday and we want to prepare it well to give another joy to our fans. We will celebrate La Liga title on the weekend all together and very happy. But now for us it's important to celebrate, yes, but a contained celebration because our objective on Wednesday is too important.
Real Madrid has had a flawless season so far. They've lost only once, and Ancelotti believes it is because of the commitment and the attitude of the players.
Commitment, little ego. All of them help each other. They are friends and we have a great atmosphere. Those are all the characteristics that allowed us to win like this, doing a fantastic season. It has been a fantastic league with a lot of continuity, lots of commitment and the right attitude. Everything went perfectly, thanks of course to our players, but also to the fans who, especially here at the Bernabeu, have pushed very hard for us in all matches.
And this achievement, of course, came despite a season marred by injuries as well. Some of their key players were sidelined: goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, defender Eder Militao and David Alaba all suffered ACL injuries. Despite facing such setbacks, the club turned it around, leaving fans awestruck.
I'm super proud. I feel very proud of supporting the best club in the world named Real Madrid. Best club in the world, and perhaps not only from the world. I don't know if they play football in Mars, but if they would, Real Madrid would also be the best. Today is the 36th Liga title, but soon will bring the 15th Champions League title.
Real Madrid's onslaught in the league continued despite them bidding farewell to someone like Karim Benzema, one of their biggest legends this summer. They are topping the charts with 74 goals so far. What's even more remarkable is they also conceded the least number of goals. Among their standout players, of course, has been Jude Bellingham. How much can we say about this talented youngster? The English youngster arrived from Borussia Dortmund at a hefty fee of $110 million, and he made sure that each of that money was well spent. He leads the club's scoring and is the lead scorer. Next up is definitely Andrea Lunin. When Real Madrid's first choice keeper, Thibaut Courtois, was ruled out, Lunin was brought in. In the 20 matches he played, the 25-year-old managed to keep a clean sheet in 10 of those matches. So Real Madrid's strategic and key signings have all played a crucial role, whether it's via strengthening the defense or adding depth to that midfield. These factors have helped them maintain their lead at the top and resulted in what we've seen now. These decisions that laid the path to success, of course, are a stark contrast to their Galacticos era. It was a heady, splurgy, cash-laden 2000s when Real Madrid pursued a strategy of high-profile signings, hence the term galactic players. This approach, of course, aimed to assemble a star-studded team like Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo Nazario, Luis Figo, David Beckham. It's estimated that their total expenditure during that era was over $600 million US. In recent years, the club has continued to make significant signings, but not as extravagant as the Galacticos' time. Their total spending in the 2023-24 season was just a bit over $110 million. A sharp fall from the glory days. They changed their strategy and their biggest play from that time to suit the day and the times that we are playing in. The shift signifies a more grounded approach. It is a tad ironical, but also makes sense. Let me explain. The president in charge back then, the man helming affairs, was Florentino Perez. He was in charge during the heady Galactico years between 2000 and 2006, when Real Madrid became what it started being known by. And then, of course, now when you see a shift in their method, in what made them the rich and successful, you see the man in charge today. It's still Perez, who came back in 2009 and still continues to be ruling the club now. There is irony because he was at helm back then, but there's also logic because he sees what has happened over the years. He understands value for money, what talent can do, and price doesn't matter. When you speak of returns and what true talent can do, that comprehends that short-term success is nothing compared to long-term stability. And that's what Real Madrid and these heroes have displayed, the grounded Real heroes of Madrid. At the age of 7, a young boy from Bristol, United Kingdom, sat in a go-kart, gripping the steering wheel with determination. That was Lando Norris's first step into the world of motorsports. That's when he embarked on a journey that would define his future. From that moment on, racing became more than just a hobby for Lando. It was his passion, his obsession. Every spare moment he spent perfecting his craft, honing the skills on the track, and dreaming one day of becoming a Formula One winner. That moment finally arrived yesterday when he won the Miami Grand Prix, when he entered the Hard Rock Stadium. There were, of course, a lot of questions that would have revolved around his mind. Despite having the most number of podium finishes, he couldn't really shake the nagging thought that victory had always escaped him. In these 109 Formula One races, he never managed to win silverware. Fans who were eager for victories were quick to pass judgments. He was dubbed as Lando No Wins, poking fun at his winless streak. Yesterday, that mocking nickname was exercised. Norris had started off 6th in the grid and, staved off competition from Red Bull's triple world champion in a twist of fate that would define the outcome of the race. That collision that happened on lap 28 of the race as a result of the incident, a safety car was deployed onto the track. Marshals are called in to clear any debris or damaged cars from the track. It also gives teams an opportunity to make pit stops. In Norris' case, the timing of the safety car deployment worked. He was able to make a pit stop while the rest of the field was traveling at reduced speeds. This allowed Norris to gain track position and move ahead of his competitors, including Max Verstappen, who was leading the race before the safety car incident. As a result, Norris was able to restart the race and ultimately went on to secure his first ever Formula One victory. Verstappen trailed 7 minutes, a little more than that, till the end of the race, failing to regain his lead. For Norris, it was triumph not just of skill and speed, but also of a bit of luck as well.
Everyone boxed ahead of me and I was able to use all the pace I had, and that turned into that little bit of luck. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of luck on your side, but I will take it happily.
As he stood atop the podium, he knew that the nickname No Wins had been banished from his racing narrative, and from now on it would be Lando Wins, rising through. Of course, the celebrations that followed were just as electrifying. Norris himself was at a loss of words by the weight of the moment. As soon as he crossed the checkered flag, he screamed on the team's channel in joy, clearly in shock as well. For Lando and the team, it was a momentous occasion. McLaren, of course, had a very rough patch. It was their first win, in fact, since Monza in 2021. Yesterday's victory at the Miami Open makes Norris the first McLaren driver since Hamilton's win at the 2012 Austin Grand Prix. That's a long while away. After the weekend, the team is again looking in serious competition. Even Verstappen, who hates losing, was one of the first to congratulate him. This race, in fact, this particular moment, has that potential to be a game changer in this season, a season that has seen a lot of turmoil already across different franchises, one that could shift the dynamics here on. We always anticipated a Red Bull domination. Norris's victory here could change that. Of course, the rest of the season promises to be just as thrilling. As the dust settles in, Verstappen will, of course, be eager to get back and determined to the ways of his win and deliver results for Red Bull that has been facing a lot of turmoil over the last few weeks, where all the conversation has been only about what's happening internally in that franchise, in that racing team, rather than what's happening on the grid. And of course, with McLaren coming back in, they are also into the ring with some serious competition. Well, time for last serve in a riveting global initiative taking place across countries like Austria, Australia, the USA, and of course South Africa too. People were being encouraged to run, even those who can't, in the Wings for Life World Run Initiative. Take a look. That wraps it up here on Firstpost. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.